Hello everyone and welcome to a late night flight with Gulf Air heading to Bahrain with my girlfriend Shona. Say hello. And we are going out to Saudi Arabia for the Riyadh Car Show, where we may have sent something rather special. So we are taking this 9:50 flight to Bahrain and then catching another flight from Bahrain to Saudi. And then we're being picked up by them, staying in what I'm assuming is going to be a very lovely hotel. And yeah, going to bring you guys along for the ride. So right now we have the whole of business class to ourselves, bar one person, which is weird. There's like, what, 20 seats in here? And it's, I mean, the plane's empty, literally. I was like, we queued for like 5 minutes and that was it. So our own private jet, of course. Anyway, right, I will catch you guys either in the flight when some yummy food comes out or when we're in Bahrain. Ciao. Okay, so we are now in Bahrain. We're actually 25 minutes ahead of schedule, which basically means I think we've got like 3.5 hours here. So, a bit of a long wait, but oh well. We've now got a connecting flight from Bahrain to Saudi Arabia, in where we're being picked up by one of the people who I think are managing some of the guests, so should be exciting. So today is a new day. Yesterday we were flying and we got here, had a little look around the old town, we were given a tour, and then bought to the car show, in which there are some crazy cars. The size of the show isn't actually that big, but the quantity and quality is unreal. Right now we're in the VIP room. I have all my passes, apparently I'm a VIP, and we are going to have a little look around some of the most ludicrous cars you've ever seen. Over my right shoulder there's a 250 GTO, behind me there's, what is that? That's a Bugatti Divo, and then in front of me there's an F40 and a Lamborghini Veneno. So I'm going to do some B-roll shots of this stunning room, and then you guys can see the rest of the show. So without further ado, the VIP room. So how about this for a lineup? I'm pretty sure we've only ever seen these cars together in Gran Turismo. We've got the Maserati MC12 Le Mans car, which there was 2 of. This one belongs obviously in London in the Joe Macari showroom. We've got the DBR9, which I vividly remember playing on many video games as a kid. What a cool car. Then you've got the P1 GTR. I believe this is a road-going one. It hasn't got number plates, but I think it has been Lanzante converted, so not 100% sure. And then right next to that, we've got the F1 GTR. So there are 2 F1 GTRs in this room, but I think it's probably about time we paid a little bit more attention to some of the special cars in here. So we shall start with this, the McLaren F1 GTR, one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic McLaren, second to Senna's F1 car. This one is actually a road car, same as the Lark car over there, and I know some of you are probably thinking, oh, I've seen that Andy B guy. That's not actually his car. There are 2 in Lark colours. This one, though, if I'm honest, I don't know much history on this, but very cool to see another road going and used. I've been told that the owner uses this car quite a lot. The P1 GTR, obviously, I'm pretty sure this is road converted because, well, it's on proper tyres, the suspension's been lifted, and also if you have a look on the inside, the seats, it's got normal P1 seats instead of the P1 GTR seats. So very cool. It's personally what I would do if I had one of these. Moving on to this car, the Bugatti Divo. There are 2 of them, one each side of the room. This one is fascinating. The interior of it is quite different. So I don't know if it's coming across on colour, but this is like a matte baby blue, but the passenger seat is blue, and the side is white. So, I mean, I've seen people do it. I've spoken to a few people at Bugatti, and a lot of people have done that because it's sort of very old school race car style, but it looks really cool in matte blue, and these lights are wild. I mean, to see this, I think this is the 3rd one I've seen now, the 2nd one being the blue one over there somewhere. but pretty crazy. Then brake lights and the exhaust. I mean, I don't know how you're meant to say there's a cooler looking exhaust, but maybe an SV, maybe an Aventador SV, they're pretty mad. But anyway, let's crack on with the show. So you've got to know it's a good show when a Carrera GT and a 177 are almost like invisible in a room like this. That's cool though. But this is very cool, an Aston Martin 177. And for those of you who don't know, if you've seen the Aston Martin Victor, this is actually based on a 177. So that's pretty cool. It's a 177 and a Vulcan that's been shared. So pretty nuts. Obviously it's got a tiny little spoiler, well not a tiny little bit small in comparison. And then, well, comparison to that, that's a big spoiler for you. And then you've got the little man car over there. And then my favourite car of all time, but we're going to get to that in just one sec. So then next to the Daytona Spider, there's I believe this is a 275 GTB. I'm sure some of you will probably end up correcting me, but what a cool car to see. And actually you see a few of these, well I say I see a few of these, I've seen a few of these, but in this setting, it looks fantastic, especially in the black. And sitting right next to it, what I believe to be a 250 Cal Spider. I think, if you want my honest opinion, I stick to this, probably, if not definitely, the most beautiful car ever made. Now I know obviously that's an opinion, but I think if you gave a pencil to a car kid who was 10, 15 years old and told them to draw an outline and a rough shape of what a sports car should look like, this is it. And I think it's elegant, beautiful. Well, take a look for yourself. So next to the 250 then, another very iconic car, Ferrari Dino. This one exceptionally good quality condition. I think it's had a very, very beautiful restoration. One thing I quite like, red seats with black headrests. That's rather cool. Something that's obviously been done, you know, like you see ad personam for Lamborghini and tailor-made. I'm assuming that's the sort of thing that would have been done in those days, but something very pretty nevertheless. Moving on to what I believe is a 330, or is it no, it's a 275. I'm never too sure on these things, but nevertheless another very pretty car indeed. I know I keep saying pretty, but well, that's what these cars are. They are just, well, there's a reason why they're sitting in the lounge full of people admiring effectively art. So if you're into your classic Bentleys, then you need to check out Peterson Engineering. These guys build the craziest Bentleys I've ever seen. Now, this may look like just an ordinary blower to you, but I know from speaking to the Peterson guys that they do build, and this may be one of their 27-litre Bentleys. That's what, 27-litre. It effectively has a Spitfire engine in it. It is nuts, but it's really nicely done. I mean, and it's just, yeah, just crazy. So this being the Lamborghini Veneno, one of very few in the world, based on Aventador but completely changed to make into what is probably second to the IE, that's from Apollo, the craziest looking road going car I think I've ever seen. I mean, photos and video unfortunately do not do this justice. I mean, that wing is absolutely massive, and then it goes to like these vents and louvres everywhere. I mean, even just the exhaust is crazy. I mean, look at that exhaust. The back end on this, obviously, that's where the number plate goes, just down there. So this then, the ALA, an early ALA system, obviously not active, but you can unscrew it, adjust the wing, screw it back in, and it will change the amount of aero, downforce or load or drag you wish to have. Now, this thing is nuts. It's got the carbon fibre wheels, it's got small green accents, but then some of them had red, some of them had white, many of them a lot like the Tricolore, which you can actually see just there, also in forged carbon. Pretty crazy indeed. So then we've got the Kuriakos Jaguar C-Type sitting next to a long-nosed D-Type. I've seen this car raced before, it is quite something. Don't worry. People being yanked out of the way just for my filming, crazy. So we've got long-nosed D-Type, we've got an SS100. You guys know that we have one of these in the collection as well, a silver one. But this one is very pretty. I've seen this car before. It's in fantastic condition. I love the grey bodywork. It's a very nice colour. So the Jaguar XK150, one of these was actually found in a barn about 2 years ago, and we were offered it. It's such a stunning car. I mean, it's almost shaped very much sort of like the Ferraris of its era, but a very elegant car nevertheless. A lot of money now. They were back in the day, but obviously the 120 and the 140, a very significantly different car, much closer to an E-Type than one of these. So this then, one of Schumacher's Ferrari Formula 1 cars, still with engine and gearbox, and currently owned by Joe Macaris, and is actually for sale, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But what a hell of a car. What I love about the Ferrari Formula 1 cars is they try and save weight as much as possible, apart from on the front nose cone, where they have still the enamel Ferrari sign. Because it's a Ferrari, branding is absolutely everything. So tucked away in the lounge area then, there is a very pretty F40. And I think only in this room could you make an F40 stuck in a corner seem fairly normal. This one, obviously, with the US bumpers on the back and the front. These are like a rubber bumpers, a lot of people remove them, but nice to see an F40 with its original stuff on. So then this perfectly lit, unlike most of the other cars in this room, Bugatti Divo in blue carbon and light blue accents. This is a very pretty car. So this has got a very different shape to all of the other Bugattis. It's got a different front grille. It's obviously got different headlights. It's got completely different bodywork. I mean, the only resemblance to a normal Chiron is the interior, and even that's had major modifications. So walking out of the VIP room then, we have the auction cars. We have the McLaren Senna, the McLaren Elva, the one of very few new James Bond cars, the BMT 216A with the rotating number plate, all of the gadgets and gizmos, the machine guns that pop out. This will be very exciting to see you go through auction tomorrow. Next to it, we've got 360 Challenge Stradale, another one of the wonderful Ferraris that are here. Aventador SV Roadster, finished in, I think, Blue Le Mans, I'm not too sure. Well, actually, I can never remember because these guys use a different colour to Ferrari. You've got a Diablo VT, I believe. I think is a VT, not 100% sure. You've got a Porsche, of which I don't know, even though I know we've got that model in the museum at the moment. You've got a GT2 RS. I think that's a GT3, yeah, one of the new GT3s. Then we've got a Turbo S, I think it's called an exclusive edition. And then a 918 Spider. All of these are for auction. Then we've got a McLaren SLR Roadster. Then next to that, McLaren SLR 722, obviously this is inspired by the Sterling Moss. Then next to that, the Lexus LFA. I mean, they're not messing around. And then next to that, if you're into bikes, there's some crazy bikes. Ferrari have just got one small stand here. Then moving over, you've got a Morgan three-wheeler on with a custom interior. You've got a 355, you've got a 550 Maranello, you've got an F12 Berlinetta, you've got an 812 GTS, and what I believe to be a 458 Speciale, yes, 458 Speciale and a Fiat 500. Unsure on that. Moving to the Ferrari section, then we have the SF90 finished in, well, I don't know, because I know it's a grey, but I'm not sure what grey it is because of the lighting. We've got a Pista Aperta sitting next to a 599 GTO, then behind it a 430 Scuderia, another Dino, another 355, a 360 Spider, 360 Challenge. Oh, I'm running out of numbers. 488 Pista, 488 Pista Aperta, 488 Pista Standard. You know what? Just look at the cars. The show then for me, a G6x6 G700 Brabus G-Wagon. There's a lot of Gs there, but one of the only few 6x6 converted vehicles to actually have both rear axles driven, so it is an actual 6x6 rather than a 4x4 with an extra axle strapped on the back. This thing obviously made only very few of them, but crazy 700 horsepower turbocharged V8, sorry, not V12, although that would be cool, wouldn't it? The automatic deflating and inflating wheels and the sheer size of the thing is nuts. One of the main cars of the show for me. So now the lighting of this show makes it a bit tricky, but this being a Phantom drop head, I think they just call them a drop head rather than a drop head coupe. I think this is just a Phantom drop head. Pretty crazy colours. They are two different tones of orange. Now, I personally wouldn't have gone with that because it's a little bit stressful, the fact that it just looks like they haven't paint corrected it properly. But nevertheless, gold Spirit of Ecstasy, some pretty crazy interior, and I think this is actually a special edition, so we'll have to have a little look. Next to it though, another Phantom drop head like the actual convertible version. Then next to this Phantom then, a Clio V6. Something very cool indeed, something that I think personally would look cool in the collection, but we can't buy everything, as everyone knows. This car, for people who don't know, it was a normal Clio but with a V6 engine in the back, so it was actually rear-engined. Like, it's just the coolest thing ever. It's got massive silver air intakes just on the side, and what a cool car. Never driven one, always wanted to. Hopefully will do one day. And then next to it, this El Camino with a big old bug catcher in the front of it. So with this wicked air intake, this El Camino is pretty crazy. I can imagine this thing's fast due to the fact that the rear wheel is one of the biggest rear wheels I think I've ever seen. Wicked colour, although I think it's a real shame because obviously the show's only lit up with these and you can barely see the colour, but it's a really stunning paint job. I think it's a like a changing colour paint, so very cool there. And then you've got this, ooh, I think this is a, what were they called, the Weitzmans? I think that's a Weitzman. I don't know what one it is and I know nothing about it, so can't help there. Mercedes AMG, also don't know which one that is. Moving across, we have a normal G-Wagon. Across from all these big trucks, that looks like a Suzuki Jimny. So yeah, that's just a G-Wagon. This is a nuts X-Class lifted thing with lots of carbon fibre on it, pretty cool. Then you've got a Ford Raptor. Also had some bits done to it, not exactly sure what, but has had some bits done to it. Then we have a Jeep here. I don't even know what that is. And the only reason why I know it's a Jeep is because on the side of it, it says Jeep. Oh, it's a J4000? Someone's, oh right, 6x6, okay. Right, you guys are finding out as much as special order for some, sorry about that, I don't know how to read that. And if you want it big, it doesn't get much bigger.
That's what she said.
Just to put it in perspective, that is the same height as me. That's huge, massive.
That's what she said. Don't you dare.
I've actually seen one of these come up for sale in the Ascot auction. Very cool, very unusable in England, but cool thing. Maybe we should add a truck to the collection some point soon. That'd be cool. And then I'm going to say this is just a Trans Am. I know nothing about American cars particularly. I know it's a Ford GT, like an 06, an Eleanor with not the best wheels on it, a wicked looking Mustang, and no clue, absolutely no clue at all. But let's head over here where there's a lot more cars and some pretty cool Paganis. So there is an abundance of McLaren SLRs, but there's also a few of these bad boys. These Maybach 57s. So these are like the ultimate in luxury, but also super not expensive, very tempting. Bentley Mulsanne, I think. Someone's going to tell me off getting that wrong. Another SLR, another SLR, another SLR. And then this extended wheelbase. Nah, this is a limousine one. There's no way that's an extended wheelbase. That's probably bulletproof and missile proof and I don't know, like being able to talk to people proof, but what a cool thing, absolutely huge.
Really? Nothing.
This is pretty cool, McLaren SLR. Next to Carrera GT, a Mirage GT, which is obviously the Gembala version. Then we also have a GT3 RS, a McLaren P1, a 600 LT, an NSX, and a Aventador S, and lots of other things. Now this show really has thoughts of everything. It's got a bit of music, but it also has an R34 Skyline for them JDM fans, and then this Veli Slide RX-7. Now I've seen only a couple of RX-7s, and this one, well, it's a whole heap better than a lot of the other ones. This is obviously the body kit from like the Fast and the Furious and that sort of thing. Very cool. Take that wing away. That's a cool looking thing. So for those of you who don't know, this is a Maybach. Doesn't look it, but it is a Maybach. It's a GLS 600 Maybach. And these things are the bouncy cars. They have a setting on them that makes them bounce.
That's what she said.
Just to help them stop getting stuck in mud. And, well, like hell one of those is going to go in the mud. But, you know, cool to think that they've thought of that. And I suppose it makes, if someone's not looking at you enough whilst you're driving this thing, you can hop down the street like a bouncy ball. So this is the new Pagani. This is the Pagani Invisibile. No, that was a terrible joke. But that is a Wira. That's also chassis number 1, first ever Wira. Moving on into the Pagani room. So as we walk in, then we're greeted by a non-Tempesta pack Huayra coupe. Now, the reason why I say non-Tempesta is that it's getting increasingly rarer. A lot of the Huayra owners are putting the Tempesta pack on, but this is completely standard. Very cool to see. Next door to which there is a Huayra Roadster. My voice is running out. I've said a lot of car names in the last 10 minutes. Huayra Roadster, you'll notice they're all in very similar colours. This one white and blue, that one white, blue and red, that one white and red, and that one just white. So very cool there. Huayra Roadster, behind it a BC Roadster. This is their latest iteration to the Pagani family, bar obviously the Huayra R. What a pretty thing, and this lighting and this setting, just gorgeous. Then here, wow, this is the Imola. So the other side of the room then, we are greeted with some really special cars. This one of the first, I think this is actually the first Zonda. Next to it, Horatio Pagani's own Pagani Zonda Barchetta HP. This thing is stunning. So moving on from the Barchetta, we also have the Ether, the Zonda Ether, finished in black carbon and red accents. This car has been seen to go through auction very recently at a record-breaking price. Very cool to see it as well. Also, another thing you don't see so often, a standard Zonda F. Well, I think it's standard anyway. I mean, to give you guys a perspective, these cars are £5 million plus every day of the week. They are incredible, and obviously most of the people who have had one of these have turned it into one of those or done a 760 pack. So actually these standard Fs and standard S's are getting super rare. So how about that then? That is effectively their greenhouse. Inside their houses, some of the classics, some of the crazy special new cars, and also our car, which is just over there. But my camera won't focus. Then as soon as you walk in, you're greeted with this, our Jaguar SS1 Tourer, our 30s Jag that is out here in Saudi. And what better colour, the white and red, is one of the main reasons why we chose it. That, and obviously it's a very special car. Next to the Dallara and a very nice Porsche 1600. So we're not going to focus on our car because you can see this car anytime you want, but we're going to have a little look around the room, and also over there's an artist who we're going to go speak to. So here then we have a couple of fairly special cars. We've got the 250 short wheelbase and a Lamborghini Miura, what I believe to be a P400S, same as our one, in a very beautiful blue, in a fantastic restoration done there, next to a 300 SL. Yeah, that's very noisy. This 300 SL is a very pretty, although it's got a bit of a flat tyre, but it's only on the bottom. Very pretty restoration done to it. Nice to see the original steering wheel and the Rudgwick wheels. Next to that then, I have absolutely no clue at all. I know this car's from DK Engineering, so it's going to be worth tens of millions of pounds, but for the life of me, I don't know what model car it is. So we're going to go over to here, which is something a lot more interesting. This is a Lego Formula 1 car. This car was actually built here on stage, obviously to celebrate the Saudi F1, which is only in a week or so, I think, but I'm only here for another 5 days, so unfortunately I missed that. But this is all proper Lego bricks. Don't know if I can zoom in and see it, but it was all made here, so pretty crazy there. This car, criminally tucked into the corner, Lamborghini Diablo GT, what am I on about? I said so many letters and numbers, I'm getting confused. This GT, this was like the pinnacle of Diablos, even though they all drove terribly. This thing is super cool, with a big scoop on the front and a crazy back end with the two of the largest exhaust pipes I think I've seen on any standard Lamborghini, next to a Ford GT. And then this is the artist I was telling you about, Mr. Pop Bang Colour. This stuff, this guy is, we're going to have a word with this guy in a sec. What he does is quite possibly some of the craziest things. He paints stuff like that with a model car. So then we have the TSRS, obviously a car that has been featured numerous times on our collection, and also a future Speedmobile. Something quite cool there. Then we've got a Mansouri Vivere, or is this this is Vincero. This is a Vincero Veyron, all carbon body with, I believe, alligator interior. So you really got to have a taste for that. Next to a Veyron Grand Sport Vitesse, I believe, or this may be just a Super Sport, not 100% certain. Next to it being a Chiron and then a WRE, a World Record Edition Super Sport. And then a LaFerrari, the only LaFerrari of the show, which highly surprises me. And how about this then? You've got the AMR Zagato, the TDF, the 918, the SLS Black Series, the SLS Black Series, the SLS Black Series SLR, another one. I'm going to have an SLR count, well you guys probably already know that. 458 Speciale Persic, another 918. Koenigsegg RS, we're going to have a look at that in a minute. Actually, I think that's the one of one. No, one of one, that's the one of one. Carrera GT, 812s, GTS, Senna, some 911, TDF, Reventon. Check this out, another Reventon. Very cool to see a Reventon, and what I'm going to try and do for you guys, if you guys are interested, let me know below. I could probably get my hands on one of these and do a proper walk around with one. Wire a Roadster, not a BC, but this is just a Roadster, Centenario, and the TRS. So you guys can see what I mean when I say he paints using RC cars. He currently has a Chiron driving across his paint to paint this amazing picture. We're going to have a chat with him probably another day, because right now he is very busy, as you guys can tell. But it's such a clever idea and it certainly draws a crowd. So as we walk in then, the Koenigsegg stand featuring the Yamira and the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute. Now I'm not going to go into detail on this because I've done a video on this. If you want to go watch it, click somewhere on the screen. But the Absolute, this one is a moving model, and for people who keep asking, no, we haven't bought one of these yet, you know, everyone's asking if we got one on delivery. Not yet, but maybe soon.